Okay, hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Carson McKenna and I'm recently admitted AA student and I'll be attending NSU this May. My eyes are getting kind of red. My allergies are going crazy here. I don't know why, but today I just wanted to do a short video just about my shadowing experience that I did at the University of Colorado at Anschutz. This is actually where the CU AA program actually is. I don't want to go over this in too much detail, but I just kind of want to point you guys to some resources that can help you find shadowing, because I know that's really hard to do. And honestly, it was something I struggled with a lot as well. So first, a location that you can kind of see what are the expectations for shadowing hours, like what it really takes to get in. So this is on the CAA Discord. I'm looking over here because that's where my laptop is. I went to the Success Stories tab under the general section. I'll just start from the bottom. So I'm gonna go through this quickly because it's not really about anything else but the shadowing. So 16 hours here, 240, but they're also an anesthesia tech, so that kind of makes it super easy to find shadowing. So you kind of expect something like that. 56 hours there. Yeah, 60 hours here for CAA, 12 hours for CRNA. So you can also shadow anesthesiologists and CRNAs for your shadowing hours as well. 56 hours. So this is a good person to highlight because they add some of the doctors they shadowed as well. So neurologists, interventional radiologists, pediatrics, which I don't know, some people like to do that too, like add their other shadowing. I personally didn't do that. I don't know, I just didn't see it as relevant. I mean, I shadowed multiple other physicians because I was pre-med initially, and I just didn't feel the need to include that because it's not related to anesthesia. So, but this person did, which I don't think there's a problem with it. I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. This person has 66 hours with the CAA. Let's see. 56, 18, 8 and 8. Shadowing, 57, 16 hours, 12 hours. As you can see, there's like a wide variety of people that have gotten accepted. So you just saw 12, 16 hours, and then 56, and then even one person with 200 hours. So there's a wide variety. I think it's an important part of the application, but I think it's just one aspect of it. So I think to keep that in mind. So I just wanted to point you to that because the expectations will change as the cycles go on. You know, I'm sure it's going to get more competitive, and it already has been getting more competitive. So I think it's important to do the research yourself for your cycle specifically, okay? And then I also want to point you guys to, in the pre-AA section of the Discord, there is a place for shadowing questions. So I think this is a super awesome resource that is available to you guys that you can kind of just ask any specific questions you have. Maybe try to throw out like, I'm interested in shadowing in Florida. Is anyone available to possibly shadow? I don't know how well that works because I didn't do it this way, but I thought there was something really cool I saw, which was really good advice. Yeah, right here. It says, a surefire way to have shadowing experiences given to you is to contact the state AA academy for the respective state in which you are interested in. AA is a small and tight-knit community, and our practicing CAAs are always looking to get more people interested in the field. They will also likely try their best to accommodate your location preferences. E.g., if you contact the Wisconsin Academy of Anesthesiologist Assistants, you can request that they give you a shadowing opportunity in Milwaukee metro area. If this somehow doesn't work, you can also contact AA programs to see if they can find shadowing opportunities for you. Keep in mind that for this scenario, you will likely need to travel to the area in which the program you contact is in. So I think this is such great advice. I didn't contact the AA state academies, but I think that's like an amazing idea. And every state has their own academy, like Colorado does, Florida. And the second part about contacting programs, I did this for NSU. I didn't get a response. So maybe you can just contact more schools and continuously contact them. What I did to get shadowing was the CU Anesthesiologist Assistant program has a application that you can fill out where they will match you with someone to shadow. So that's what I did. Very easy, very simple, and I really appreciated that. So I'm on their website right here. And if you go to admissions and then you hit the shadowing tab, you'll come to this page. So it says if you're interested, you can complete this survey. So you just fill it out, nothing too crazy. Very easy, and then you're done. So, and it didn't take them very long to reach out to me after I filled this out. I think just a couple weeks or so. I had to get a letter of rec for this, so that has changed and it doesn't seem like you need one anymore. That's kind of cool. So I don't know how selective they are about it, but I had no problems getting accepted. And I think this is a good idea, especially if you're in Colorado, but also maybe if you're open to traveling. So that's all I want to say about finding shadowing. So I think those are some good first steps to start. Now I want to talk about my experience. I made a little flow sheet for you guys on Canva. So I made sure that I did all my administrative things so I could actually shadow. So I got accepted to the actual, you know, shadowing kind of program, but then the University of Colorado hospital system requires a lot of just like paperwork and proof of immunization, that sort of thing. And you want to give yourself plenty of time to get that done, because in my previous shadowing experiences, this was for just like random doctors. I didn't leave myself enough time and it was just like a really huge headache. So give yourself enough time to do all these like administrative things, like do it at least a couple weeks early, for sure. So I did all that stuff. And then I think the night before, the day before, I made sure I wrote down all the questions I could possibly have about AA life, AA career, AA school, like anything that I could possibly think of to have ready, because obviously it's impossible to remember all the questions you have. So I think that's great to have, and then you can kind of write your answers as the day goes on as well. Okay, and then I kind of knew like a good amount about the AA profession before I shadowed, because I've been looking at all these YouTube videos related to it, but you know, I think it's good to brush up on that, and I think look at some general anesthesia videos. I think Max Feinstein does some really good videos related to anesthesia, so kind of just get an idea of what the flow might look like for the case and things like that. Okay, and so I have a couple photos actually, not that many. I think from the details on my photos, it says I took this photo at 6:30 a.m. and then this one I was waiting in the lobby of the Anschutz hospital at 6:50 a.m. Got there super early, and so I was kind of just chilling in my car, going over the questions and writing any more last minute questions, that sort of thing. And then she told me to wait in the lobby, so that's kind of this photo here, me waiting for my shadower to pick me up. And also too, this is just specific for the Anschutz hospital, is you have to come in and you have to check in with the front desk, and they'll give you a little badge, like a shadower badge. So you have to get there early enough to do that. It doesn't take long, but just so you know. And I also, you can't really see in these photos, but I kind of wore professional attire. Even though I knew we were going to change it to scrubs pretty quickly, I just dressed professionally. And I think that's always good to do. Like, it's better to dress too nicely or too professionally than not enough. Next, we commenced with the case. I watched her do the setup and talk to the patient and all that sort of stuff. I don't want to go into too much detail about the actual medical things related to the shadowing, just for HIPAA purposes. So I'll just talk about, you know, my experience with the AAs and the AA students and that sort of thing. Yeah, I was kind of nervous to take a photo, so they're kind of terrible photos, but this is what I looked like. And I took this photo at 12:30, so I'm assuming that's when we took a lunch break, because we did have a little lunch break. And then here, in the, I don't know what it's called, but like the break room, there were so many student AAs there, so I was actually able to eat lunch with them and ask them a ton of questions. I definitely took a ton of notes about the case. I think this is important because honestly, it will be hard to remember a lot from the day because there's so much going on and you're like stressed and anxious, and so I think it's good to take as many notes as you can, and there's plenty of time to take those notes too, especially with medications, because I think that's like the craziest part is there's just so many medications that are mentioned during the day that it's so impossible to remember, especially if you're not super familiar with anesthesia. So that was good. And yeah, find anything that was interesting to you, like that would be also a good opportunity to talk about that stuff during the interviews. Even little things like maybe something that you wouldn't think is important, but maybe it was important to you. Like for me, I think one thing I want to keep in mind is like I had experience with surgeries of my own in the past, and I think it was interesting in the way that I related to our patient that day. And so I wrote down those sort of things that I could reflect upon and talk about. And then of course, like I said, answers to my questions. I had so many questions So again, it would be impossible for me to remember all that stuff. So that was important. I blurred out this picture. These were my notes that I took, or part of the notes I took. I don't think it would violate HIPAA. Like, the things I wrote down were very general and just kind of learning tips. But of course, I just want to be extra careful, so I'm just blurring it out. Just things about when we started, the type of case we saw, just some general like anesthesia things, like all the meds that were used, or at least the ones that I caught. I'm sure it wasn't every single med we used, but I think it was a lot of them. Overall, I had like an amazing experience, and it really got me excited. I think what got me super excited was just how positive everyone was about the AA profession. I think that was so fun to see, especially because I was pre-med previously, and it kind of felt like all the physicians were kind of saying negative things about the field and how they kind of wish they didn't go into medicine. So I think it was so refreshing to hear quite the opposite from AA. So that was very exciting. Another thing that I really enjoyed was just the atmosphere of the OR. Everyone in the OR was just super friendly, and they even came up and introduced themselves and asked about me and my life, and they were kind of joking around. So I thought that was kind of fun. Maybe I'll just say a little bit about my feelings during the shadowing. I think I was pretty nervous going in because okay, so like I said, I did shadow previously with my primary care physician. I shadowed her for I think about a week, and then I shadowed a ophthalmologist for a day, as well as I was an ED scribe, so that's kind of like shadowing on steroids. So I had experience shadowing, and while shadowing is fun and stuff, it can also be a little bit nerve-wracking because this is a little bit awkward. You know, you don't want to talk too much, but you also don't want to not talk at all. So it's kind of like a balance that you're I don't know, dealing with the whole day. It was good that I had my questions ready because, you know, your mind can blank quite easily. And I think it's just important to just show your curiosity, be friendly with everyone. I know that can be hard when you don't know anyone in the OR and it's like a ton of people there. So that's definitely hard to do, but just try to be excited and curious, like ask like, hey, what's that medication? What's that for? Like that sort of thing. I don't know. So I think that's kind of what I tried to do. One thing that I was having a hard time like figuring out is like, when is the time where I shouldn't be talking? Like she was doing some notes at some point. She was obviously doing a lot of things during the case, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't like talking while she was doing something super important and needed to focus for. Respect those times where she needed to focus. So that was hard. As you guys know, there's like so many documents that need to be signed related to shadowing. So every school has their own shadowing document they want signed. So what I did was I made one PDF with all the shadowing documents I wanted to fill out, and I kind of pre-filled in all this information for my shadower. So, you know, I wrote down the institution, the addresses, all that sort of stuff, and then I just highlighted where I wanted her to sign and date. And that was kind of all she had to do, so basically just sign and date. And I think that was really helpful in the sense like just having it organized, it's easy for her, and then you're done. And I just sent this to her after the fact because I had her email, so it was very easy. If you don't have their email or their phone number, maybe just show up with your tablet or something so they can just do it right there during a break or something like that. And I would just have like basically every single school's shadowing document with you, even if you're not sure if you're gonna apply to that school yet. That way you just have the opportunity in case you wanna apply. Like, it's very easy because that shadower is right there ready to sign stuff at that moment. So I just think that's the easiest way to do it. And then next I just added this because I was looking through my photos, but I think it was funny because I literally moved the next day that I shadowed, which was kind of crazy. So these are kind of pictures from that move-in, and this was for my last year at CU Boulder. It felt like I was doing such important things or big things for my future, like shadowing, which is a major step into moving on in your application. So that was awesome. And then starting my last year at CU Boulder was huge, and moving into a new apartment is huge. So it was kind of a rewarding couple days, I'll say that. I think that's it for the video. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. If you like this video, watch my other videos about my application journey and my interviews as well. So I'll see you next week. Bye guys.